I was awakened at 4:15 a.m. by one of those emergency bulletins that come across your cell phone. Woke me up. There's a message on it. It says 2 police officers were shot in my neighborhood. And this ties in to rideshare. Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone. I'm Mark. This is Mark's Travel Time. And this is a fun story. Yesterday morning, about 4:15 in the morning, we were awakened by iPhone, messages. You get those emergency alerts. And this one said that everyone in our vicinity should take cover. 2 police officers were shot in the immediate area, and they wanted us to go to the lower level of the building we were in. I have no idea why. And lock all the doors. Well, my bedroom is in the top floor. So naturally, after reading that message, I rolled over and went back to sleep. And the next morning, I went back to it to see what was going on. And just a weird story, and it does have a rideshare component to it. As it turns out, there was a hit and run accident at about 1:30 a.m. Police went to respond, and in the course of the investigation, they came across a guy, and as they approached him, he opened fire on them. Police officers got shot, and they put out the alert. So what does this have to do with rideshare? Oh, we'll get to that. So they put out, a message saying this guy is wanted in North Dakota for attempted murder. Oh yes. So I was heading out a little later in the day, and I got not too far from my house where all this took place. It was at one of those off ramps right off the interstate where they have, strip malls and a lot of fast food restaurants and hotels and things like that. And that's where all this went down. And the exit was blocked off by police. Ultimately, someone saw a strange looking character, seemed out of place, wandering through a nearby field, called police. Tactical unit went in, and they got the rascal. So he's now in custody. I don't know if they'll be sending him back to North Dakota, because frankly, I think that shooting 2 cops in Wisconsin is far more severe. So how does this relate to rideshare? I don't know how well you can see them all, but they're all watching me. Lying down in the woods. There's about 6 of them in there. You can see 3 in this shot. There's 1 more hiding over that way. Like a lot of news stories, this is a little sketchy. You get those cub reporters that never give you the important details. But from what I could gather, looking at a variety of different news sources, there was a guy who was taking a rideshare in Fargo, North Dakota. And he was taking it to Moorhead, which is really, really close. And then he turned around and went back. He was having pain in his head. Called police. Said he thought he was shot. Police arrived, took him to the hospital, found bullet fragments in his head. That's all they say. I don't know how. The search went out for this character. I'm not going to say his name because I don't think he deserves the publicity. But I don't know how they made the association. I don't know where he was shot. I don't know if he was shot in Fargo. I don't know if he was shot in Moorhead. But I do know he was shot in the forehead. If not Moorhead, it was a forehead. Actually, I just made that up because it rhymed and I thought it sounded funny. He was shot in the head, okay? We can joke about it. He didn't die. Apparently the guy's okay. But I don't know where this guy who shot him in the head and then went on to shoot two police officers, I don't know how he shot this guy because we're not hearing any details. I don't know how he ended up in Wisconsin or why, because we don't know any detail. Oh, look at this. We're seeing deer hoof prints here on the ground. You can see a deer was running across here. Several of them probably kicked up some of the gravel here. And what do you think of these? I'm gonna say it's a dog. There are wolves, coyotes, different animals, but this just looks like a plain old dog to me. This, on the other hand, I don't know. Maybe a raccoon? Looks a little big for a fox. I'm going to say this is a raccoon. It's got little fingers on it, right? But somehow he made his way to Wisconsin. He got involved in a hit and run. I'll tell you, if you're fleeing from a crime, be careful how you drive. Make sure your brake lights work. Make sure that you're not speeding. And make sure you're not involved in a hit and run. Something happened around the Holiday Inn, and I don't know if he backed into someone in the parking lot or it was an actual, both vehicles were moving. Once again, we don't have the details. But it was a hit and run that did get the police there. So personally, I think I would rather see him first tried in Wisconsin, because obviously he's a dangerous guy. And we would like to see him brought to justice. But I really want to know more about this rideshare component. This guy in North Dakota took a rideshare from Fargo to Moorhead and back. Somewhere along the line, he was shot in the head, reported it to police, and police got a line on this suspect. Doesn't tell how. The most important piece in the puzzle was left out by reporters. I used to frequently see foxes in this meadow, but I haven't seen that in a while now. And there's my favorite crazy tree trunk. Isn't that weird that it would grow that way? And then it just goes up, up, up. It's straight after that. Here's another weird one. This does a complete 360 corkscrew before it starts growing at a 45-degree angle. It's been like that for years. And the really weird thing about this, and you're gonna say, really, there's something that's really weird, is that the Fargo police put out the notification that he was caught over Facebook. So is that what it's come to? That the press is so inept that press releases, real, legal police department press releases are being made through Facebook? Absolutely nuts. What a world we live in. So anyway, that was the strange rideshare story that I was kind of sort of involved with, in that it woke me up at 4:15 in the morning. I wouldn't say that any of this happened in my neighborhood. It was a mile or two away from where I live, but strange nevertheless. So as always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell icon. That way you'll know when I post new videos. From Wisconsin's North Woods, I'm Mark with Mark's Travel Time. There's a lot of them in the yard. They don't care too much, do they? Right here. This one's pretty small. Might only be a year or two old. And there's 4 or 5 more directly to my left. There's one walking away past the woodshed. I'd say pretty as a picture, but of course it is a picture. I like this. Someone lost their hat at the post office, so they just hang it up on the bulletin board.